Rocks the size of softballs are raining down from the sky in Hawaii, and this is not a movie. This is real. This is happening right now. On April 9th, 2026, Kīlauea volcano on Hawaii's Big Island launched its 44th eruptive episode. And guys, episode 44 was not quiet. Lava fountains tore 800 feet into the air. That's 240 meters. Think about that for a second. 800 feet. That is higher than two Statues of Liberty stacked on top of each other. And it erupted like that for 8.5 hours straight. Continuous, non-stop, fresh from the earth. The USGS Hawaiian Volcano Observatory confirmed it. Episode 44 began at 11:10 in the morning on April 9th, and within just minutes of that north vent opening up, alarm bells went off everywhere. The volcano alert level was immediately raised all the way to red. Red. The highest level there is. That is not a drill. That is not a precaution. That is a volcano that is performing, and the earth below it is cracking open. Now, here is the part that really got to me when I saw this. Rangers were evacuating the overlook near Kīlauea military camp, and as they were running people out, softball-sized chunks of volcanic rock were falling out of the sky all around them. Softball-sized. Coming out of the air, landing on the ground. The USGS scientists on site confirmed this. They photographed it. The road near the military camp was essentially carpeted in volcanic debris, and then it gets worse. Less than 5 miles away, a school had to evacuate over 300 students. The Volcano School of Arts and Sciences, guys, 300 children, because of rocks falling from the sky and toxic gas in the air. Let that sink in. And further in this video, I'm going to explain why this keeps happening and why episode 45 is likely already building right now as you are watching this. But first, let me show you the scale of what just came out of that volcano. The eruption generated 5.8 million cubic meters of lava during those 8.5 hours. That is 7.5 million cubic yards. Now let me make that real for you. If you took all that lava and stacked it into dump trucks, you would need a line of trucks stretching from Honolulu to Los Angeles. That is how much earth poured out of one crater in less than one day. The eruptive plume shot up to 30,000 feet above sea level. That is roughly 9,000 meters. Commercial aircraft fly at 35,000 feet. This plume was almost at cruising altitude, and the winds that day were blowing from the south, pushing all of that ash and volcanic debris in a narrow band directly north and northeast, straight over communities. Tephra, up to 10 inches thick, that is 25 centimeters, was deposited inside the Volcano Golf Course subdivision, a residential neighborhood. 10 inches of volcanic rock and ash just dumped onto people's yards and roads and rooftops. Pele's hair, and for those of you who don't know what that is, let me explain. These are razor-thin strands of volcanic glass. Actual glass, spun out of lava by the force of the fountain, carried on the wind like spider silk, invisible until it lands on your skin, and then it cuts, and it irritates your eyes, and if you breathe it in, it gets into your lungs. That Pele's hair traveled all the way to Hilo. Hilo is 25 miles, roughly 40 kilometers from the crater. And people there found glass in their yard. Can you really imagine that? You step outside, and there is volcanic glass on your car, on your garden, blowing through the air. The National Weather Service issued an ashfall warning for the entire region. Highway 11 through the volcano area was closed, not just the park, the highway, major road, shut down. Communities like Volcano Village, Mountain View, Hawaiian Paradise Park, all warned to stay inside, disconnect water catchment systems, wear masks, wear gloves, wear eye protection just to step outside. And this is episode 44. Now I want to go back to episode 43, because that one was even bigger, and I think many people have already forgotten it. Episode 43 hit on March 10th, 2026. Lava fountains from that episode reached 1,300 feet. That is almost 400 meters. The Eiffel Tower is 330 meters, so episode 43 shot higher than the Eiffel Tower, and it dumped between 4 and 12 inches of volcanic debris on communities. And then a Kona low storm system rolled through Hawaii just days later, knocking out power, downing trees, flooding roads. The park had to close completely just to clear the damage from both events combined. So by the time episode 44 arrived, the ground was already layered in volcanic debris from the last time. Can you give this video an early like right now? And share it. This is happening in real time, and people need to know it doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps this channel. So now let me tell you what is actually happening beneath that crater, because this is the real story that most people are not covering. This eruption began on December 23rd, 2024, and it has not stopped. Not once in over 15 months has the magma supply to the summit of Kīlauea run out. What we are seeing is called episodic fountaining. It is a behavior that even the USGS says is unprecedented in how regular and predictable it has become. Here is how it works. After each episode, the volcano goes quiet, the lava stops, the fountains collapse, but beneath the surface, the magma chamber begins to refill. USGS research geophysicist Ingrid Johansson and her team monitor this with something called a tilt meter. The instrument measures the ground swelling. The Earth literally bulges upward as magma pushes into the chamber from below. You can watch it in real time. Every single day, the ground tilts a little more upward, and when it reaches the same level it was at just before the last episode, that is when it erupts again. It is like filling a pressure vessel. And right now, as you are watching this video, that vessel is filling again. The USGS confirmed on April 10th that inflationary tilt already began recovering within hours of episode 44 ending. Hours. The tilt meter had already recorded 2.1 microradians of reinflation by the following morning. During episode 44, it deflated 17.6 microradians. So it is already climbing back. Episode 45 is building. And what makes this situation different from a normal volcanic eruption, what makes it genuinely alarming, is the pattern that has developed across these 44 episodes now. The earlier episodes, the ones back in December 2024 and January 2025, they were shorter, less intense, fountains that maybe reached a few hundred feet. But as the eruption has gone on, as the crater floor has filled with fresh lava and the terrain has changed, the episodes have gotten more intense. Episode 35 produced the highest fountains of the entire series, 1,500 feet, 460 meters. That is taller than the Empire State Building. Episode 39 on New Year's Eve 2025 sent fountains to 1,400 feet from the south vent and 900 feet from the north vent simultaneously. Episode 43 dumped so much ash on the park that a USGS monitoring camera was destroyed. A volcanic rock hit the camera and broke it. Scientists had to hike out and replace it. This is what we are dealing with. And here is something I found that really made me think. The sulfur dioxide emission rate during episode 44 was measured at 208,000 tons per day. 208,000 tons of sulfur dioxide in one day. To put that in perspective, the normal background level between episodes is somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000 tons per day. So during active fountaining, the emissions spike by a factor of more than 40. Sulfur dioxide is the gas that creates VOG, volcanic smog. It reacts with moisture in the atmosphere and creates sulfuric acid particles. People with asthma, children, pregnant women, elderly residents. This is not a theoretical risk. This is what people in downwind communities are breathing on eruptive days. And on April 9th, that gas was being pushed directly northeast over populated areas for 8.5 hours. Now I want to take a step back and give you the bigger picture, because this is not just a local Hawaiian story. This matters beyond the Big Island. Kīlauea is one of the most monitored volcanoes in the world. It sits on the Hawaiian hotspot, which is a fixed point of intense volcanic activity deep in the Earth's mantle. The Pacific plate slides slowly over it. That is how the entire Hawaiian island chain was formed. And Kīlauea right now is releasing energy at an extraordinary rate. Since this eruption began in December 2024, more than 200 million cubic meters of lava has poured into the Halemaumau crater. The crater floor has been reshaped, completely transformed. What was once a 200-foot deep lava lake is now a towering mound of solidified lava more than 200 feet thick above the old crater floor. The geometry has changed, and scientists at the USGS HVO are watching something new. Before episodes 42 and 43, the tilt meter data started showing a staircase pattern, small deflations happening during what should be pure inflation. Research geophysicist Ingrid Johansson confirmed this publicly. She said, quote, "That's new." And she said it's not clear what it means. Things are just changing. When a USGS scientist says things are just changing and they don't know what it means, that tells you something, right? This system is evolving. It is not following the same script anymore. And there is one question that is now sitting at the back of every volcanologist's mind. In 2018, Kīlauea had a catastrophic eruption that completely changed the volcano's history. Magma migrated from the summit down into the lower East Rift Zone. It opened up dozens of fissures in residential neighborhoods. It destroyed over 700 homes. It added 875 acres of new land to the Big Island. It was the most destructive eruption in Kīlauea's modern history. The current eruption has been contained entirely to the Halemaumau crater inside the summit caldera. The East Rift Zone and the Southwest Rift Zone have stayed quiet through all 44 episodes, but the USGS says that is the #1 thing they are watching for. Any sign that magma might start moving into those rift zones, because if it does, this changes completely. So what is next? Right now, the eruption is paused. Episode 44 ended abruptly at 7:41 p.m. on April 9th, but the inflation has already started again. The glow from both vents is returning. The tremor is continuous. Episode 45 is coming. The only question is when. Based on the average gap between recent episodes, we could be looking at a few weeks, maybe less. And given the escalating pattern we have seen since December 2024, nobody should assume episode 45 will be smaller than 44. Episode 43 was bigger. Episode 44 was explosive and reached communities in a new way. What will 45 bring? Communities downwind need to have their plans ready. Disconnect water catchment systems. Have masks and eye protection ready. Know the evacuation routes. Know the school pickup procedures. Because the next alarm could come in the middle of the night. It could come while your kids are at school. And based on everything the USGS tilt meter is reading right now, it is not a matter of if, it is when. Guys, I have so many more videos about volcanic events happening around the world right now, and you should really check them out in the end screen. Stay informed. This planet is incredibly active right now, and you deserve to know what is happening. If you want to support this channel, you know where to find me. Your support keeps me on the pulse of these stories for you. Stay safe, guys. Be aware. Bye-bye.